Dear Fermar Pikvez Village, plenty have heard the saying, it takes a village to raise a child, but few really stop to think about what it actually means and who constitutes my village. Our village can be family members, friends, teachers, coaches, teammates, colleagues, and even those few others who only grace your life for a short period of time. While some teach through mostly negative lessons, others shower you in positive and uplifting messages. However, the important people have a mix of both positive and negative to affirm who you are and help you become your current self. The following words are to thank my village. My village starts with my parents, who birthed me at age 19 and 20. I love them both dearly for the roles they've played in my life. Yet this letter is to highlight my grandparents, who have also filled my life with love, laughter, and plenty of tough lessons. In these days of COVID-19, I don't want to miss the opportunity to say thank you, I'm sorry, and I love you to these great people. Especially knowing that we couldn't formally celebrate the 81st birthday on March 17th and the 75th birthday on April 21st of both grandmas. I'm one of the lucky ones who at the age of 33 still has all my grandparents alive. Since one grandmother remarried in the mid-1970s, I have 5 living grandparents. Again, one of the lucky few. There are grandmas D and CM and grandpas E, W, and D. I bet you thought I was going to say F, like the band, because they are the reasons. 3 of which hail from the South: Pascagoula, Goche, and Nolens. That's New Orleans, for those not from there. Each has passed on a wealth of wisdom and pieces of their culture, mostly African American, as well as a healthy dose of Filipino American and a dash of Creole and Mexican. I have lived under each of their roofs at some point in my life. I even made excuses to spend more time with the others. For the record, I'm not saying I'm a saint who always chose to spend time with my grandparents over my friends, and not all the reasons were kosher either. Like many, I was a teenager once, and had mischievous moments before the teen years too. However, after nearly a decade spent on the opposite side of our country post-college, moving back to my home state has been lovely. I look forward to the opportunities I get to spend with them over holidays, and the quick weekend trips for no better reason than to see all my family. In the words of Hathaway, what is love? The dictionary defines it as a feeling of warm personal attachment or deep affection. These 5 people embodied that definition with their actions. I'll start with Grandpa E, who has a thick Southern accent that an outsider might only understand 50 to 75% of his words. He taught me that you can fix anything with fix-all and duct tape. I guess the family remedy is now public. Sorry. More seriously, this man is the definition of a handyman and has worked on nearly every house on his street. He taught my father so many skills that we never needed to call a plumber, electrician, carpenter, or anything in the skilled trades when I was a kid. Either my father fixed it or we called Grandpa E, and 3 generations of E's found ourselves knee-deep in a project. One time, that even included being knee-deep in someone else's shit. A clay sewer pipe broke outside their home, and they knew that Pops and Grandpa did great work. Working alongside those 2 taught me a great work ethic. Out of all of my grandparents, he's the only one with a college degree, which is in industrial arts from the historically black college and university Jackson State. Sadly, I didn't know that fact until I was heading off to college. Then there's Grandma CM, born on St. Patrick's Day, which doesn't really mean much in the African American community, to a local pastor in Mississippi. She is the nicest and sweetest woman, until you do something stupid. Grandma E is the person who taught my dad to cook, sew, clean, and be a God-fearing man, though that waned in the first 10 years of my life. She has been in a wheelchair the past 20 plus years of my life, so I didn't get as much of the good old times with her Southern home cooking, yet she makes it a point to get to church weekly. She also gives the loveliest kisses you've ever received, which is usually preceded by the statement, give Grandma some sugar, baby. Switching over to my mother's side, I will start with Grandpa D, who was my mother's father. Grandpa D had a long mane of hair that was slicked back and shoulder length. We're not talking about Jerry Curl letting his soul go, but a Mexican with flowing Uncle Jesse-like hair. Some of you kids didn't get either of those references. Oh well. We would spend hours at a local park playing catch, taking batting practice, and just horsing around. This man is naturally left-handed, Yet he learned to throw with his right arm in order for my brother and I to take batting practice and see pitches from both sides of the pitching mound. While all my baseball coaches will tell you I was never much of a hitter in baseball, which is true, I ended up being a 4-year starter for a Division III team that reached the top 10 in the country. So this foundation must have been good enough. He spent so much time at my practices and games that many people thought he was my father. There were some puzzling looks because I'm multiple shades darker than he, but he was always there for support. He is the person who taught me that showing up is more than half the battle. To this day, many of my baseball friends remember Grandpa D with his cooler of popsicles and Snapple, listening to the Beatles, Michael Jackson, or classical music, and more fondly, the fact that he never drives above the speed limit. 25 literally means 25 to him. At the ripe ages of 20 and 21, my mother was born to Grandpa D and Grandma D. Grandma D is the first person to show me what an educator looks like. Now 10 years into a career in a different sector of education, she is the person who showed me that education careers can be fulfilling and meaningful. Learning was placed on a pedestal in her household, and I'm pretty sure she still has every report card of every grandchild. We had binders full of them growing up. Some were better than others because my sisters had better grades than both the boys, but we definitely weren't a report card on the refrigerator type of village or getting incentivized to achieve higher grades. That motivation had to come from within. Similar to Grandma CM, Grandma D is a sweet lady until you do something stupid. Just ask my brother about the time he didn't move quick enough to take out the trash after being told twice. Don't worry, I'll wait. What you'll hear from my family is a roar of laughter from everyone in the room, except my brother. Funny stories like this are what we now laugh about when I call home. Outside of my dad, Grandma D is the family member that I speak most frequently to, and I usually start the conversation with, "Just checking in, how are things up there?" Grandma D and Grandpa W were always the two who stressed that college was the path to success, or at least a flexible future. Grandpa W showed love by editing all of my shitty high school papers. And I mean, very shitty. This is what Grandpa W did for this guy, and it's only the beginning of the thank yous he deserves. To top it off, I was a procrastinator, which usually meant typing a paper until 3 a.m. on the family computer in the living room and printing a copy to leave on his chair for edits. Yes, you all know Grandpa's chair in the living room that reclines. The moment he enters the room, you get up from that chair out of respect. He would wake up before me, edit the paper, and leave it on the computer for me to make the edits and turn it in that day. Oftentimes, there were notes like, "What does this mean?" Hell, I don't know. It was 2 a.m. when I delivered that beautiful monstrosity of a sentence. One other thing I'd like to point out is the advice he gives. One in particular is something I tell many fellow first-generation college graduates. Shortly after finishing college, literally within a week, we were on our front porch and he said, "Son, I've trained every one of my managers for the past 15 years because I don't have that piece of paper." A college degree for reference. Congrats on your achievement, but you can hit the ceiling with a bachelor's degree at 30 or at 55 with an advanced degree and only need to work 10 more years. Pick your poison. My thought was, damn, thanks. Don't none of y'all have college degrees. So can't we just be happy with this? But I would be stupid to say that aloud, and he made his point. I started studying for the GRE the next day and wound up in graduate school the following year. My friends have called me Grandpa since middle school, and this is probably due to spending so much time with my grandparents. I think about their wisdom as I pass along knowledge to the students I work with today. In reflecting on family, one can easily think about the problems and drama. For the record, we have plenty too. Yet I'd rather highlight these positive attributes that show, what is love? There aren't enough thank yous in a lifetime to show my grandparents the respect I have for them. Therefore, I try to live all of their wildest dreams for me, while trying to be a good role model for my younger siblings and inspiring the next generation of learners along the way. These are the shoulders that I stand on. Thank you for skillfully teaching me to be a lifelong learner, to be nimble, and to listen. Well, most of the time at least. I'm sorry for being snarky, stubborn, but let's be real. I got that second quality, honestly, from both sides, and sometimes a royal pain in the ass. I love you. for helping shape me into the man that I am today.